Here's a question for you. Is access to the White House for sale? The Washington Post today abruptly cancelling plans for what was billed as an exclusive salon to hook up lobbyists with members of Congress and White House officials. The cost of admission? $250,000. The offer detailed in a flyer handed out to lobbyists. The paper's editor claims she was blindsided. The White House says it probably wouldn't have been approved. Syndicated columnist Malkin not so sure. Michelle, this looks like access to the powers that be for lobbyists at a very high price, organized by a news organization. Say it ain't so, Michelle.
Oh, it is so, and we have to give credit to the Politico, which was founded by former Washington Post reporters, by the way, for blowing the whistle on this. I think one of the things that's most significant that needs to be stressed is that it was a health care lobbyist who blew the whistle, who handed the flyer to the Politico, and of course this is all happening as many of us are questioning the incestuous relationship between the media and the White House. A couple of weeks ago, I joked that ABC ought to register as a federal lobbyist on the health care issue after giving all that airtime to Obama to propagandize about health care. And now it seems that the Washington Post ought to be registering as lobbyists as well. These salons are astounding what they were proposing.
But that's an enormous amount of money. I mean, you could raise millions on a night like that. My question is the Washington Post so desperate for money that it would literally sell its news organization and sell access like this? Would the money have ended up with the Post?
Well, yes, they are that desperate. And in the first quarter of this year, they lost $19.5 million. And Catherine Weymouth, who is the chief of the Washington Post and publisher, had said very recently, even as early as this week, that basically, quote unquote, and this is a quote, everything is open. She was at a Saving Journalism panel at the Aspen Institute in Colorado, here in Colorado. She said everything is open, that they will look at anything. And obviously will. Her living room, her dining room, her bedroom, it was all open.
Oh, I guess what shocks me is that it was so blatant and that the money was in such large amounts and it was actually put out in a flyer. That's what surprises me. I knew that the Washington Post veered to the left. They really were very supportive of the Obama administration. But this surprises me that they would go so far in a relatively open fashion.
Yeah, well, they hired someone, a marketing executive, and they expected him to be as aggressive as possible, and certainly he was. And I think that what we need to criticize now, and what I've been openly critical of on my blog, is the disingenuousness of their rationalizations and their defense now. They're saying that the publisher, the chief, had no idea that this was going on, and that the flyer was not properly, quote unquote, vetted. Well, it was vetted enough for it to get out there to a healthcare lobbyist. What they didn't expect was that it would be leaked in this way and that they would be embarrassed. And even as early as this morning, they were insisting that they would continue these salons, and it wasn't until they got the firestorm that they did that they decided to cancel the whole salon operation.
Maybe there's a happy ending to this, in that the Washington press corps is clearly in bed with the Obama administration. When this kind of thing comes out, they will be forced, embarrassed perhaps, to step back a little and be a bit more objective. Any hope for that, Michelle?
Well, I'm holding my breath, Stuart. We've had enough of these staged, organized operations between the Obama administration and the press to see that it's a bad habit. They can't seem to fix it.
Well, you and I are both optimists, and let's hope for the best. Michelle Malkin, always a pleasure, and thank you very much, ma'am.
Thanks.
It is